Hello everyone, I'm Leah Griffith, the founder of leahgriffith.com, which is a joy-filled creative community. So to do something a little different in my creativity, I actually purchased this fixer-upper back in September, and I've been starting to remodel each room. And the first room I'm going to share with you is my newly remodeled kitchen and dining room. I bought this house back in September, and when I purchased it, it was actually 3 rooms. We had a dining room, a little breakfast nook, and then the kitchen, and all 3 rooms were quite small. Unfortunately, all the beautiful light was coming through the tiny little breakfast nook, so the first thing we did was gut the kitchen all the way down to the bones. We took out 2 walls, put in a beam, and then started to recreate this space. This house is a 1929 Tudor, and I knew that I didn't want to make it completely modern, even though I love mid-century, but instead infuse just a little bit of the mid-century and still keep its Tudor charm. And one of the things I did know about this space is that I wanted it to be very white, which is unusual for me. If you follow any of my other home tours, you know that I love color in my rooms, but this room just wanted to be white. So when picking all of the colors and the surfaces, I did know I wanted counter to ceiling white tile. I wanted an upward vertical so that it brought your eye up. The ceilings aren't super high, they're high enough, but they're not really high. So I wanted your eye to feel like the ceilings were even higher. Of course, the ceiling is white. I picked pure white quartz countertops. Then, knowing that I needed a bit of grounding to go with all this white, I chose this beautiful gray blue stain on the wood. And the thing I love about this, even though painted cabinets are so popular right now, I wanted it to show the wood grain, and it gave just a bit more earthy feel. Another thing that you'll notice probably right off is I don't have any upper cabinets throughout most of my kitchen. Again, I wanted to create this really open, airy space. I had lived in a place before that had these floating shelves, and I knew I loved them because I can show off all my beautiful dishes, artwork, and these paper plants. So far we have a lot of white. Now we have our beautiful gray blue, and both of those colors are cool. So I knew the next thing I needed to do was infuse a lot of warmth into this room, and part of that is done by our wood shelving, but also putting in this cork floor. I wanted the floor to be a very beautiful honey color that matched the rest of the wood floors in the house. The floors in this room were too damaged, and it would have taken a lot of work to repair them back to wood, and knowing how much I love cork floors, that was my choice. One more thing about this cork floor is that it is fairly busy. The pattern moves around, it's quite flowing. So it was important for me to keep all of the busy on the floor, and that's why I chose just the solid white countertops so that they didn't compete with each other. Next, let's talk about the appliances and the sink. Now, first of all, I picked out this beautiful sink. I knew I wanted a farmhouse style. It's what's on trend right now, and I just really love how big and spacious they are. And then I picked out this bronze, this brushed bronze. It's a little bit more modern, but I wanted just a really clean look to this faucet. And then I have a matching soap pump. One thing about this sink, when they sent it to me, it included this wire rack. I wasn't sure that I would actually use the wire rack. I'd never had one before, but after using it for a few weeks, I knew that it was going to stay. It's so easy to move, clean the sink, and I always know that my beautiful sink base will stay protected. I did pick this color for the faucet and the soap pump because I wanted it to coordinate with my appliances. In the last few years, I've been feeling like stainless steel is kind of on the out. So when I saw these beautiful cafe appliances, I knew that was exactly what I wanted in my house. They're a matte white, which I love, and they have these beautiful honey bronze handles and knobs on all of the appliances. And honestly, this is my dream stove because not only does it have the gas on top, but it has the electric convection oven, and there are 2 ovens. There's just something about these pieces. They're fairly reasonably priced, but they look like they're a lot more expensive than they are, and they have just a touch of professional look in them. Now that I've picked out my appliances and I have my beautiful faucet, the next thing to do was to pick out my hardware. And I did pick out a honey bronze. That's exactly what they call it. This is a vintage style pole to go on my drawers, and this is a shaker style cabinet. And then we have these oval knobs. You can see here, this is a little feature of my cabinets. I love all the custom detail. One of the most important things in a kitchen is lighting. You want to have a lot of light. So I did pick an LED light that sat right in the center of the kitchen, and it has a dimmer switch so it can be very bright when I'm cooking and need all the light, or I can dim it if I want more of an ambiance. I love having a light hanging over my sink, and to add just a bit more natural feel, I picked this little wicker cover for my light fixture to also coordinate with these shelves on the side. And then for my beautiful peninsula, I wanted 3 hanging lights, and you'll notice they are a bit vintage looking, and I did pick that honey bronze color for all of these light fixtures, including the one over my sink. Now I'm standing on the other side of this beautiful peninsula, and this used to be the breakfast nook, and I have to say, this is where all of the beautiful morning light comes through. So when I come down, make my coffee, this is where I sit when I pop up on my laptop and greet my team every morning. I hope you've enjoyed the little tour of my fixer-upper kitchen, and in the next video, I'm going to share my dining room, which is adjoining the kitchen.